Welcome to this very special edition of the KAJ Masterclass Live, the show which ensures that you profit from your time spent here with experts, either through their industry insights, information, or simply learning from them. And today we have Dee Hurley. She is an emotion code, body code practitioner, and quantum living advocate at Lighthouse Energy Healing. Welcome to the show, Dee.
Hi, thank you for having me here.
You are welcome to the show. You are welcome to India in this online form, Dee. And I'm sure not just in India, but a lot of people across the globe will benefit from what we are going to talk about. We'll try and understand the science of frequency and health. So, my first question is to understand this. You say that, energy is everything. We all know energy is everything. We have heard about it. So, you say that we are energy bodies and need to be in the right frequencies for optimum health. So help us understand that in a bit of a detail, Dee.
Yes, I would love to. So every emotion carries a particular energy or frequency, and they've actually measured this scientifically. So like the emotion of love resonates really high on the chart, and the emotion of shame and guilt are way down low on the chart. So whenever people are resonating with a low vibration frequency like guilt or shame or dread or fear, those kind of things can get stagnant in the body and cause sickness and disease because your body's out of alignment and frequency wise. And so what I do is I help people figure out what emotions that their body's resonating with. And then when we can identify those emotions, we try to release that so they can resonate at a higher frequency and have more healing in their body.
Right, right, Dee. So how do I know what frequency I'm in? I as a simple person, I've only heard about radio frequencies and all other mobile phone frequencies and all that. So how do I know in my life what frequency I am in so that I can tune it to the right one?
There's several different ways. I use muscle testing or kinesiology is one of the things that I use to help my clients determine what frequency they're resonating with, or if they're resonating with a emotion that's not good for them. And if they're not with me, then I can just ask to connect to their energy, since we're all connected and everything's energy. And as long as I connect with them, then I muscle test myself by proxy. And then I just go through an emotion code chart and identify what emotion's coming up that the body's wanting to clear at that time. And then I ask the body, is it safe for you to release this time? And then I'll muscle test again. If I get a yes, then we're going to release that low vibration emotion so that they can resonate at a higher frequency. I also use a muscle testing, it's kind of like a muscle testing device, I guess, but it's an energy scanner. And what it is now it's just an app that you can download on your phone. And you can scan your body, kind of like making a phone call. You make a profile in the app, and then it knows who the target person is. And then I'll ask them to send me like a voice clip of them talking, like a 10-second voice clip, because our voice carries frequency and vibration. And just like a lie detector, it will pick up if there's something out of balance in your voice. And once we get that scan done, then they'll get a full emailed report and they can see what's going on, what emotions are coming up that needed to be cleared. And then they can listen to the frequencies that are emailed to them and listen to those audio files, and it'll help rebalance the brain. And this particular scanning app that I use has helped so many people with PTSD and anxiety and, normal things like that can get, disrupted when we go through traumas in our life. So it helps a lot to rebalance the frequencies in the brain and the body.
Right, right. Dee. So that this is interesting that in an app you put in your audio, your voice, and it can tell you about. So can it also tell me about positive energy for sure, but negative energy also? How
Yeah.
does that work?
Yeah, it will show you what frequencies you are like matching with the most. And there's even more detailed scans that will show you like if your chakras are in alignment and help you rebalance that if it's not. I always like to check the meridians and the chakras on my scanner. That's kind of where I just kind of gravitate to now when I realized how important it was to have your meridians and your chakras in alignment. I don't even waste much time anymore looking at the rest of my reports. I'm just like, let me see how my meridians are doing and my chakras. If these are pretty good, then I know I'm pretty good to go.
Right. So it means in a relationship or in any relationship, if there is a problem, or
Um,
anyone who is emitting a lot of your negativity around them, if there is, I can tell, listen, let's go and have this particular test on this particular app, and we test it and we find out who is creating much more negative energy around. Will that help? How does that work?
Well, if you are around a negative person a lot, you are going to pick up their negative energies because that's just how energy
Okay.
works. So, yeah, you're even going to pick up energies from your pets. And we share those with our pets. We found out that a lot of people who scan their pets had a lot of the same problems that their owners did. And they've even showed that, like when you go to a veterinarian, now they're starting to pick up the same kind of diseases that humans have and starting to match what their owners have. And it's everything is a frequency and a vibration. So we're all sharing those frequencies with each other when we're around them. And sometimes it will pick it up in the scanner, those kind of things. And you'll just have to question that and say, who have I been around a lot lately? Clear that negative energy.
Right. So why is it that we pick up much more negative energy, understand it, are able to comprehend it rather than positive energy? And also, a negative person might be around so many positive people at the same time. Why is it that the only that negative person does not pick the positive energy from so many positive people around them?
I'm sure they can, but everybody's different. And I think a lot of the issue is what we're used to. What environment were we raised in? We tend to gravitate towards that in our adult life as well because it's just normal and feels like at home. That feels like what we're used to feeling. So they gravitate towards relationships that are kind of remind them of their childhood. If there was a lot of trauma or abuse, they might wind up later in life attracting those kind of people to them because energy attracts energy, like energy. So usually you're going to attract that same kind of environment unless you're around people who are like energy vampires. And I found this, there are some people who just drain very positive people. They see that beautiful light in them and they get a little jealous of it and they start feeding off of their energy. So you just got to be careful who you're around, but it's always best to try to stay around more positive people because you will eventually start picking up some of that positivity if you can, you know.
Right, right.
Yeah.
So, let's talk about two main things. One is the PTSD and narcissistic abuse. How does these healing modalities work here? Is it the same process? Is it some other process? How does somebody who come to you with any of these issues, how do they get started with you?
Well, usually you don't have to tell me anything about your situation. Your body will tell you. Your body knows everything that's going on. So all I do is whenever I muscle test for them, I ask if I can connect. And then sometimes I'll ask, is there any specific issue you want to work on? If it's just an emotional thing, then I'll just ask their subconscious, what emotion would benefit you the most to release right now? And then I'll go through my emotion code chart. I just go row by row, like I was taught, and then I identify what emotion it is and release it. And they don't need to tell me any story around it or what happened, because a lot of times the brain doesn't know if it's the first time you're experiencing that trauma or you're going through it again. So I would rather them not, get into it. It's like, let's just release this trauma and try not to dwell on what got it there, because we don't want to re-traumatize the brain. And I know it works because I was in 11 and a half year abusive marriage. I had PTSD. I had neuropathy. I had medical ulcers, stomach ulcers. I had so much anxiety and my body felt like it was falling apart. And it was just, I was in a negative environment. And soon as I got out and I started doing like the emotion code sessions on myself, I could not believe how quickly my body started healing on its own. And one day I remember thinking, gosh, it's been a long time. Like I don't even have neuropathy anymore. My feet were not hurting when I would go to bed. And it was just like one by one, these ailments that I had for so many years, they were just disappearing. And it was all because of the emotional things that needed to be healed. So I know for sure it worked for me. And I definitely have a lot of clients who can testify it's helped them.
Right, right. In terms of PTSD, how does this integrate with the modern medicine. In that sort of a thing, people or doctors will see differently. So how do you tell patients about about this particular aspect of healing, who are on that cusp of not understanding this, or also not understanding the medicine part if it is not working fully for them? How do face this problem? How do you, what do you tell them?
Well, I really like to point out that when you're doing energy healing on somebody, you're not going to have a lot of side effects like you will taking a drug. So just look at the labels and look at the side effects and what has been around the longest. Energy healing has been around a lot longer than modern medicine. And I believe it's here to stay. And I believe it's coming back with a greater force right now because more people are opening their eyes to the facts that they did have some things figured out. We threw away the baby with the bathwater. Modern medicine can't fix everything. I mean, we don't even have a cure for the common cold. But we start working on things one by one in our emotions, and we'll get to the root cause of why we have the cold or why we have the sickness. A lot of times you'll find it was some trauma that happened and you just didn't deal with it yet. You didn't release it yet. And a lot of that starts with self-love. When we start loving ourselves more, your body will love itself more. You'll see it. Your body will start healing traumas just from that alone. Is one of the biggest things I try to work with people with. And I try to show them how they can muscle test themselves at home, and they can learn to listen to that inner voice more. We've gotten away from listening to our inner voice, and the placebo effect wouldn't work if we couldn't heal ourselves. So I know we can heal ourselves. We just need to learn how to do that. And I think a lot of people are coming to that now. So.
Right, Dee. So does this part of sort of healing, is this permanent, or one needs to be continuously in the right kind of frequency, which you tell them how to be in that?
Yeah. Well, everybody's different. If people go back to the traumas and they relive that and they start sliding back into an environment that used to be comfortable to them, then they might start having those ailments again. The best thing to do is to focus on what you want to bring into your life, the energies that you want to bring into your life. Even if it's not comfortable for a while, you're going to start getting more acclimated to that the more you're around it. So just I tell people, listen to positive frequency music, podcasts, anything that gets your mind focusing on the better things in life and love. And because you will start drawing those things in the more you focus on them. So we really do need to be careful about where our thoughts go and where we place our attention.
Yeah. Okay. So a lot of people who want to, understand more about it, more in terms of you learn from you about it, what is the best way for them to connect with you? You have your Lighthouse Energy Healing. Tell us a bit about that so that, people get the best out of you.
Yeah, if you go to lighthouseenergyhealing.com, I have some packages there and some information about the emotion code and the body code, and also about the frequency scanner that I use. And anybody can get that frequency app on their own phone if they'd like, and I can tell them how if they could get more information on there as well.
Wonderful. With this, it's a wrap on this very special edition of the KAJ Masterclass Live. Thank you so much indeed for joining us.
Thank you, Ajay. This was nice.